Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna leave that. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday the 14th, and as you may not be able to tell, I'm actually in very high spirits now. Earlier this morning, I did try to do a video, and I was in low spirits because just my brain was like, let's just put it this way. The analogy I tried to give to Jerry to explain where my brain was this morning was, take a train wreck, the worst possible train wreck you can ever think of or imagine, where the whole mile-long freight train was compacted into a giant metal ball of you couldn't tell which car was what. That's the way my brain was this morning. It's taken me a couple of hours to get my brain cleared, as plus a drive to my old job to get my last paycheck, or my last pay stub, I should say, and just open windows and play my music to the highest volume I could without being overly harmful to my ears or anything like that. I read the other night the first part of the next chapter. It's called basically Life Skills, Hygge Life Skills. Now, and just to go in brief, because most of what I read so far was just like the history of the evolution of skills that mankind has slowly developed over time through trial and error. I understand what she's talking about, because a lot of the old life skills that we had for surviving the wilds and forging forward and evolving society and skills and different various things. In our modern day era, a lot of people have lost a lot of those life skills because we don't use old school life skills like taking flint rock and turning it into arrowhead or spearhead or flint knife, or taking two rocks and striking them together to start a campfire to cook your foods, or the skills of stalking and hunting animals and various things like that. But we still use a lot of the old school life skills. If you're a crafter, for instance, a lot of the old school life skills are still being used to understand how to put certain things together to make a beautiful bouquet, or Jerry Ann uses a lot of the crafting skills that has been developed over time to do her stuff. There's people who use old school crafting for knitting or needlepoint or sewing or clothes making, basically. Without, some people don't like using a sewing machine because it could snag, or one thing or another is more of a problem than just using your hands. I use a lot of, when either me or Jerry go cooking, a lot of the skills that have been developed over time are considered life skills. So life skills can vary from person to person, or from craft to craft, or whatever it is you do for fun. Let's say, like, Jerry Ann does a lot of her crafting for fun. I love to cook. I have fun while I'm cooking. Those are life skills. Now, the problem with a lot of life skills that a lot of us of older generations that use are getting lost on the joy and fun of those life skills, because more and more people are relying on digital devices of one form or another to, oh, let me look up a recipe. Oh, that's a recipe. There's 600 different recipes for this one thing. Let's see which one sounds more flavorful. Or they just go, oh, I'm just going to grab the first one and hope it tastes good. And if it doesn't, I'm never going to do it again type situation. I like taking ingredients. Like, if I'm feeling creative, I will go, okay, what's my meat product? Let me find my base product. What's my meat? And then I'll gather up spices and seasonings and other things that might complement this flavor. And I will, by trial and error, test the flavors. Now, the most expensive part is that depending on what kind of cut of meat you get, or what kind of meats you buy on a regular basis, can get a little expensive because you're going through trial and error and you're wasting a lot of product. As part of a life skill, that's a Hygge life skill right there. Anyhow, since I don't want to make this short because my first video, my phone cut out on me because of lack of memory. I have to go and clean up my phone, probably delete a bunch of applications or whatnot that I don't use anymore. But we're getting into the Hygge life skills. Like I said, the first part is basically historical. It's basic historic information to show the evolution of skills. Tonight or whenever I go to read the next chapter is going to be called Back to Basics. And I have not really looked at it yet. It's a whole couple pages worth of Back to Basics. We'll see what it's about. Then after that is How to Think Like a Cook. Now that's going to be the chapter I'm going to be like, oh, yes, that's right up my alley. I have to say this one thing about skills. Now this is to all the generations. My generation, generations before me, and generations still coming. No matter what the era is, until we get to the point of Star Trek where it's just simple push a button, tell the food processing machine or whatever you want to call it to give me a certain kind of meal, we're still going to need certain life skills. The best life skills I can say for the modern era and to come forward is, find your joy of doing something besides playing on the computer. Find your joy in a skill that is going to be needed for surviving. We all need to learn how to cook. I enjoy cooking when I get a chance to. It really brings some joy to me. If you're not interested in cooking, well, you need at least a basic knowledge of cooking you can't always go run to McDonald's and buy a Big Mac. That's not good for you. As much as I would love to. I would love to be able to go, oh yeah, I don't feel like cooking. Let me DoorDash. Hey, DoorDash, can you bring me some Taco Bell or whatever? Learn how to cook a little bit. You don't need to be Gordon Ramsay or Guy Fieri or anybody famous like that. You can be a simple, let's go into the kitchen and grab some hamburger meat, make homemade hamburgers, or let's go in the kitchen and buy and get some chicken cutlet and grill them up with some seasoning, with whatever. Some of the basic recipes that are really, really easy and you don't have to be a fancy 5-star chef to make. Chicken franchise, chicken alfredo. Basic meals. A lot of times with chicken alfredo, all you have to do is buy the alfredo sauce, unless you feel like making your own alfredo sauce, and I don't even know how to do that. Buy yourself a jar of low carb, low sugar, low calorie type generic cheap Alfredo sauce. You bring that home. You grill up some chicken. Or if you want to get fancy, you bread the chicken and then fry it and then pan fry it or bake it in the oven. I just go for grilled chicken. Heat up some fettuccine noodles. You get the fettuccine noodles cooked. You can put the Alfredo sauce in with the noodles, or you can finish grilling up the chicken, make sure it's cooked all the way, chop it up, throw the Alfredo sauce into the frying pan that your chicken was in, so you can get all the nice crusty bits off the bottom of the frying pan. Throw your chicken in there. Let that heat up to a nice warm consistency, and then pour all that over your Alfredo sauce, and boom, or not your Alfredo sauce, your fettuccine noodles, and boom, you got chicken Alfredo. Now chicken franchise is a little bit more difficult, because you have to, after you grill your chicken or bake your chicken, however you want to put it, you have to get your lemon butter white wine sauce made. And then you can put the chicken on top of a bed of pasta, and it could be any kind of spaghetti pasta or franchise noodles or whatever, and then pour the lemon butter wine sauce on top of that, and then you've got an easy dinner. All you have to do is worry about a vegetable. Usually with either one of those meals, I take a bag of microwavable broccoli, throw that in my microwave, let the microwave cook it. Simple cooking life skills. will keep you fed, and if you cook the right kind of foods and you eat the right kind of foods, it will keep you healthy. There's plenty of cookbooks you can get, and you can tweak the recipes to your flavor, which we do all the time around here. You know, and if you want to get into a really creative life skill, there's all kinds of crafting. There's needlepoint, there's crocheting, there's whatever a lot of the stuff that my wife does on her channel. The point is, a lot of the life skills that are literally in our DNA, it's part of our DNA makeup. I am not doing so well with words. You know, there's a lot of things that we think is dead, old, no longer viable. That's part of our genetic makeup, and I am pretty sure if you get into something that clicks with you, that's probably part of something in your genetic makeup. Cooking clicks with me. It seems to click with most of my family. My dad, my Aunt Lee, well, she's not genetically part of our family. She's a intermarried part of the genetic makeup of our family. But my Aunt Lee, a lot of the old school, I hate to be, you know, stereotypical or stereotyping women, but a lot of the older generation of the women that I know love to cook. I don't know about my grandma or Grandpa Henson. My grandmother she wasn't the greatest cook. That's why every time when we lived nearby, we came up to Missouri for the holidays. Like when we lived in Arkansas, it was like a 4 to 8 hour drive up here to where they lived. And my mom's, my grandmother, my grandfather, when he was alive before we went to Germany, and most of the family that ate holiday meals with us were like, oh yay, Jim's here, my dad. Because from what I was told by several members of the family is grandma could burn water. How do you burn water when water evaporates? But yeah, basically she was saying that everybody was saying that when my dad used to cook for everybody, they can taste the seasoning and whatnot, because Grandma April, her only seasoning was salt. Okay, but anyhow, I want to get off this. I know it's short. I spent too much time on myself today. It's almost 4 o'clock, and that's, I'm sorry. Between my morning attitude and leaving the house for a little while to go do an errand and just this, I've taken too much time away from Jerry. Jerry was not feeling, well, she didn't think she would be up to doing much. Well, I give her kudos. I did not properly appreciate the fact of that. While I was in here earlier today trying to do a morning video, which flopped, she made breakfast. She stood at the stove and made hash and eggs. So I have to say, you know, I really appreciate that, even though sometimes I don't verbally say it. That, in fact, when my mind is a jumble like it was this morning, it's hard for me to go and be a proper person, because I'm just in that bad day, leave me alone, type mood. It's not a mean mood. It's just one of those, I've reverted into a caveman where it's just grunting, groaning, and grumbling. So, yeah. I need to apologize for that. I need to do what's best. I know Dre will be like, there's no need for apologies. I understand. And no, I'm sorry. I have to do the proper thing by my upbringing. Anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have had a good day. Hopefully your weekend will be a good weekend. Mine's going to be an interesting one, because we're going into Illinois for various reasons. So until next time, well, you know the drill. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this conversation. Any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the question comment box. I will deal with them as soon as I get to them or as soon as I see them. If you're not a subscriber and you want to be a subscriber, which is your choice, you can click on the subscription button. Jeez, what's going on? And a little bell will pop up, and you can click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. For those of you who think what has been going on with this video, with my issues with words and whatnot, well, that's not always normal. I laugh at myself for it. I don't care what other people think, because I know my quirks, and I know it's partially because my brain is sometimes faster than my mouth. Anyhow, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. God bless. Bye.